This episode is brought to you by Audible. For a free 30-day trial and to receive a free audiobook, all you got to do is head on over to audible.com/gamebreaker.
Gamebreaker TV.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 162 for This Week in MMO. It's September 20th. I'm Gary Gannon, you're watching Gamebreaker TV. On today's show, leveling sucks, so why bother? Let's all just get right to the end game. Everything doesn't actually go on in EVE Online. Warhammer Online is shutting down, and a whole bunch more. But first, Mr. Jason Winter, how are you, sir?
I'm doing great, and I do not have a new iPhone. I just have the same crappy old one.
Same as me, but I've got the iOS 7, so... iOS 7?
I don't even want to say what number I'm on.
Wow, okay.
It's embarrassing.
All right, it's embarrassing. And joining us as always, Mr. Michael Byrne. How are you, sir?
Fantastic, sir. I have never once owned an iPhone.
Ooh, I feel bad for you, sir. Give my regard.
I'm a Samsung guy.
As long as you're not BlackBerry.
Yeah, they're having a lot of trouble. Everybody's going on getting laid off and crap. 40%, I think. Crazy. Anyway, let's talk about some MMOs. What's going on in the world of video games? This is kind of crazy this week. Did you guys hear about this? So the Tera doing something weird again.
This wasn't weird. This was like, what?
What needed to happen?
What? I think you addressed a problem by not addressing a problem.
It's both the dumbest thing and the smartest thing they've done.
Right.
That's what it is.
It really is, because, I mean, all right, so what they did this week, if you guys haven't seen the news, I don't know, I was pretty harsh on Tera's early game starting zone, all that jazz. Everyone kept telling me.
You even defaced your Final Fantasy XIV Collector's Edition.
I did.
Over how bad Tera was.
I did. Everyone kept telling me that Tera got better, though, at later levels, and...
That's Jason's favorite saying, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's what everybody kept telling me. I don't know. I never got there, but that's what people kept telling me. And all I can assume is that Mass agrees, because back in March they had that. Remember that power leveling promotion?
Mm-hmm.
That was weird.
No bit.
That was a little bit weird. That was pretty questionable right there. I don't know. They were sort of promoting you to just get through and grind through all their content as fast as possible to get to endgame. So I guess they didn't really want you to see it. But I guess power leveling maybe isn't the best answer. Maybe the best answer is just to not see it at all.
Right.
So
skip most of our content.
Skip like most of our games. So in Mass are offering a free level 58 character to all new and existing players.
And the way they're doing it is like, it sounds like the most sketchy thing ever. It sounds like somebody got a hold of a GM or a producer's account and sent out a forum post real quick. Because the way you do it is go onto your existing account. You can't do it with an existing character, first off. So I have like a 40 archer that I would love to just have bumped to 40 or 58 because I already know how to play it. Can't do that. But if I want a new one, I go and I roll a new character on my account, and I name it, and at the end of its name, I put .level up. So I would name it burn.level up.
And boom! Level 58.
No, it's not even boom.
Nope, not right.
Oh, it's not boom.
Nope. You have to create the character by Sunday night, 11:59 Pacific time, this Sunday night, the 22nd. And then, all those characters that are created, Monday, they're going to start running a script in the back end that levels those characters. Like, it searches for that
so this is like a limited,
in the name.
I didn't realize this is like limited time only. This is like a fire sale. Limited time only. Call before the timer runs down. Operators are standing by. We've only got so many hours to level your character. Wow. So they're trying to play the clock.
What Mass is saying is that this is a test. They're testing something here, and they, based on feedback and how this actually goes on their back end, they may use this type of thing for future items. Now, what it could be besides, giving you max level. So They're hoping it'll take 24 hours, and by the end of Monday, everybody that put .level up at the end of a character name will have a level 58 character. Full gear complement, 1 free name change coupon, so that when they're done, you can get that .level up shit.
But
off the
wait,
end of
there's
your character's
more.
Name. Right. Oh, not only that. How can we get you to play this game? No, seriously. How can we get you to play this game?
What's it going to take to
They're not just giving you the set of gear that's specific for your character. They're giving you a full bag of gear. And it literally tells you on the page, feel free to sell the stuff you're not going to use.
There you go.
I had tricks
And
with slap chop. You're going to be
So
in a
we're gonna
great
give
mood
you
all
some
day because you're going to be
gold,
slapping your troubles away with a slap chop. Now look, here's a potato. One slap.
Tara,
you got
here it
fish
is,
on
one
the
slap.
stew, 2 slaps, home fries
Well,
in a second. And look at this.
they got
You
the
add a
MMA
mushroom.
fighter to do
The
their
more you
initial
do
commercials.
it,
They should get
finding
this guy
characters
to do an
switching
ad for this.
brains. Now,
Oh, no,
you love
again.
salad.
wasn't he called
Well,
beating
yeah,
up
he
like
gets
a
caught with the cheap
Yeah,
prostitute
he was the one that
over
was caught beating
he
hookers.
was beating hookers up. This guy's playing like
He's using a
GTA
ShamWow
5 in
top
real
layer
life.
stuff.
He was giving him a shampoo. What? Oh, I'm sorry, too soon? Get the hell out of here. So yeah, it seems really skeevy. It may take more than 24 hours. They tell you that you can only do 1 character, and it's if you're a brand new account, or if you create a new account, they'll let you do 1. And then there you go. And they say if you try to do more, we're only going to level up the one that you created first. So I'm putting
Is this going to work? Is this going to work?
I don't think it's going to work.
Chat room, is this going to work? I want to watch chat room. Tell me if this is going to work. You guys like downloading Tera right now? And I don't know. Why don't they? I'm not really against, honestly, them just offering free max level characters for certain games. Like, I'm really not. Like some games, just offer it. Why not? Who cares?
I'm putting this to the test. I logged into my Tera account because I did.
See, you logged in.
Update
See?
it. I did.
See, it
Well,
worked.
I had updated it a couple days ago anyway because they did put new endgame stuff in there with like 20v20 PvP and new dungeons and stuff. So there was a moment where I was like, man, do I want to grind out those last 20 levels because I'd really like to be able to write about this endgame stuff. And then I was like, no. But then when I saw this, I'm putting it to the test. I created 3 with the name. So we'll see if the programming really only sticks to the 1. We'll see what happens on Monday.
Look at you trying to game this system.
I am, right?
It's
I
gonna
was
want
like,
to
I was like,
we're
going to need a healer. We're going to need a tank. We're going to need 2 things. So we'll see what happens. I'm
Jason.
I don't think I'm against it, but whatever.
Jason, you going to log in? This is going to make you log into Tera?
You know, if I hadn't already uninstalled it, I might
Maybe.
have, but I don't want to go through the. I'm not going to go through the rigor of reinstalling it, trying to recover my password, all that stuff. It's a good idea, though. I mean, it is something that I think is going to help. It is going to get people back into it for a while.
I mean, man, if the end game is that much better than everything else they created, almost why not just? It's basically getting rid of it. You know, don't get rid of it because somebody may. It's like just let people do it.
Yeah, and
What
in
was
the
it?
write up I did on the
Guild
free-to-play
Wars,
site, it
I
was
mean,
like...
Guild Wars had a
Sorry, there
similar
was a
thing,
delay.
but no, Guild Wars had a similar thing, but not exactly where you could, you could have a max level character for PvP, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then they've also realized that's kind of how they do it within Guild Wars 2 and PvP. They up level you to 80. They realize
Right.
that, and just in general, they've also realized that they don't just shove all the fun stuff in the end. They have kind of interesting stuff you can do throughout, and that's what a lot of MMOs just don't quite get yet. You need that sort of thing instead of just 50 levels of grind, and then you get interesting stuff.
That's about the only other game that I can sort of think of that's remotely close to doing this was the Guild Wars
Mhm.
leveling up system. I can't think of anybody else kind of really doing this. I don't know. I think it might actually it
World of
sounds sketchy
Warcraft
and
kind
weird.
of did something similar with the res scroll, right? I mean, it gave somebody a free 80. It wasn't quite level cap, but if you could get somebody to return to the game that was a friend of yours, they got a free 80, whether it was level 1 or level 40 at the time. So the precedent's there. But with Tera, it's kind of like the way you're advertising it is our beginning level shit is so boring that we're going to let you bypass it. Where maybe the conversation should have been, how can we make that stuff better? Or if we
but
think
that's
it's really that
expensive.
bad,
That takes time.
or
That's
if
time
we
and a lot of money. You
I'm
can't
with
do that.
you. I'm with you, but if we think it's that bad and we can't spend the money to make it better, then why don't we get rid of it? Why don't we cut that whole portion
Aren't they
of
essentially
this
doing
out?
that? Maybe, but there is a portion of
But
people
it's only
who
a
might
short,
not actually.
it's a weekend, right? It's a weekend. And
Well,
it's
it's a
not
test.
being done in Tera worldwide. It's only en masse, not game.
Yeah, I mean, they're obviously going to see what the
brothers
turn.
are screwed.
They're obviously going to see what the turnout is like, and if a lot of people jump in and start doing the end game stuff and seem like it's having a lot of fun, I'm sure this is going to be something that they put in place permanently. You know, they probably need to figure out a way also to not confuse new players from coming into the game and have these like options of like, wait, I can have a max level character, I can have a level 1. What is this all about? I don't know. Fill me in, Burn. You seem to be the most up to date on Tera. Is the end game that exciting? Is the gameplay really good?
I don't know. My max level character is 40, and the newest stuff that they did add with the siege battle and stuff like that does seem intriguing, and I want to try it. But I just couldn't get. And I love a good quest grind, and even I was like, ugh, I'm done. You know, I'll sit there and quest forever, and at 40, I couldn't do it anymore. So I like this for somebody like me, especially because I do want to see that end game because it does look fun. For PvEers, though, before this patch, there really was not much to do. And the one big thing that you could do lagged the whole damn server so bad that nobody wanted you to do it. So it was nice to see like 4 new dungeons added for PvE and some PvP stuff. So there's a bit more to do. I'm looking forward to it. I'll definitely check out the endgame stuff, but I can't tell you how it was right now. I never got there.
I actually did have a chance to try a little something out at GDC. Me and Ed Park, when we got a little meeting with NMOS, and they gave us whatever, like a level 58 or level 60 characters, and we did like a horde mode kind of thing where just 4 of us, 2 of us plus 2 designers, just having wave after wave of stuff coming at you, and that was fun. I did that, and I was like, "Well, this is pretty entertaining." And then, of course, that was like a month before the launch. I got the game, and then I was like, "Oh, this is not nearly as fun at all."
Does this like sort of thing make you wonder, like when are we going to start seeing more of the MMOs kind of stripped down to basically a city hub and just have dungeons and raids and PvP? Like, I'm surprised more companies aren't doing this. Just removing the leveling experience and just creating these smaller MMOs that are still massive and have pretty big things to do, but just give you endgame.
They're called MOBAs.
Yeah, but we want more. I think the MMO player really wants also something in the vein of, Smite's probably one of the closest things, right?
Well, sure, it's just a MOBA.
But it's very much a MOBA with like, a 3D perspective of like an MMO. But I don't know. I'm talking about straight up MMORPG style endgame raids, dungeons, all those mechanics, things like that. Why aren't we just seeing games just pop out and just be like, hey, City Hub, endgame type content, that's it. There's no leveling PvE experience.
Because people still want that wide open world that you can explore and you can have different environments.
Sure, but we already have that.
I know.
We have that. We have games that do that. I'm just surprised we don't have other games that don't do that. Do something different.
Yeah, but if we didn't have that, people would say, "Oh, it's not an MMORPG. You don't get to run around and quest and see stuff." Even though when they have that game, they play it for 50 hours, they get tired of it and they want to just do the dungeons. So it's really something. I mean, really, this is not that unprecedented in the notion that every MMO does this. Every MMO has some sort of leveling bonus, rest XP, or post or something. They all are saying
it like it's a sequel script update.
Not quite like that, but they all are saying on some level, please skip our leveling content. Please get through that as quickly as possible and get to the end game. We're going to give you rest XP, we're going to give you bonus XP, we're going to give you XP potions on our Blizzard cash shop or whatever. They're all saying do that exact same sort of thing, just not quite as blatantly.
I don't know. I agree, but I'm kind of really a fan of possibly more companies making these like, sort of just strip it down, just give it what it is. I guess, the people would be like, people don't know how to play for level 50. Actually, for Tera's sake, how do you think people are going to fare with new players to play a level 58 character?
Yeah, it's fine. Because you had a bunch of abilities leveling anyway, but you really were only using two or three of them from the beginning of the game to like 50-ish anyway. So it's going to be odd, jumping in and having tier gear. I think it's tier 11 that they're giving you. Chad, if I'm misquoting that, please let me know. But I'm pretty sure it's tier 11. And then having 3 hotbars worth of abilities that you're going to have to learn how to sequence. But remember, Tera also had that like auto feed sequence thing too, where you didn't have to memorize all the different combinations. You could trigger an ability, and then anything that chained off of it automatically popped up and gave you the option to click it immediately or just keep hitting your space bar to roll from one to the next to the next to the next. So, yes, there's a little bit of a learning curve, but I don't think it's going to be nearly as big as people think it would be.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I don't know. I guess I'm not going to check this out. I'll be honest. I'm not going to check this out. I was going to say maybe I'll check
it
this
out
out
just to see if the sequel script runs right.
You're just trying to break it.
You can report back and let us know what's going on.
I definitely will. Hey, in all fairness, we're talking about Tera today, guys, and it led off the show, so kudos.
Exactly, which is what I think they sort of want to see what it does and like see how this, I think a lot of ex-players who have played the game, would they come back? They might come back. I don't know how many new players this is actually going to draw in, though, like who have never played. Well, I don't know. Maybe that as well. I mean, there might be a lot of people watching the show going like, I heard so many bad things about Tera, but I did hear the end game action combat was fun. Now you're telling me I could jump into a free-to-play game and just go straight to max level content?
Well, watching this show, they heard the end game content might be fun, but we never really got to experience it.
Yeah, it reads well.
It was great that too when they first introduced like the PvP battlegrounds. I saw the patch notes for that. I was like, okay, that sounds pretty good. Good thing they're putting that in. And then it was like, must be at least level 50. Really? I have to. What?
Jason was like, well, back to Lotro it is.
You don't know how to do this. You guys just don't know how to do this.
How is the PvP scene in that game right now?
That was all there was to do at Endgame. And that's why I wanted to get there, check out a dungeon or two, and then call it a day. Because it was a primarily PvP focused. And then even in their most recent updates, PvP got its update first with the whole pirate siege thing. And then just recently, like I think it was maybe a week and a half ago or so, it got a PvE update. But it was weak on the PvE side. PvP is fun for me, but I'm horrible at it. I mean, I'm just freaking
it's not your
awful
thing.
at
it's not
it.
your
No,
thing.
so I'm a bad judge of whether it's good or not, but it was fun. I can
Check out
at
the
least
raids,
give it
get back
that.
to us. And I'm curious about with the population.
Oh man, that means
is
I
sort of
gotta
like.
get from 58 to 60.
Yeah, but someone
so
in chat
lame.
is saying you have to farm tier 11 gear to get the level 60 dungeon. So you'll still have a while.
That's probably
tier
a lot
11,
of grind.
Tier 11 is what they hand you for walking in.
Oh, is that what they give you just straight up for? Oh, okay.
Is part of this 58.
All
right, there you go. I want to hear back. On
I'm
this
grinding out
experiment.
2 levels in Tera, grinding out 59 and 60 in Tera. That's probably like 4.5 million XP.
It probably is. So yeah.
I'm playing Final Fantasy, man.
All right, I want to talk about the CCP controversy, but first I want to tell you guys about Audible. If you guys have not checked out Audible, you got to check it out. Just go to audible.com/gamebreaker. Make sure you use that URL. I want to hook you guys up with a free 30-day trial and a free audiobook. That is right. All free. Free 30, free book. All you got to do is go to that URL. They got some great World of Warcraft books on here. Some of you fans of the World of Warcraft, the lore is awesome. So check it out. They've got Vol'jin, Shadows of the Horde, the Jaina Proudmoore, Tides of War, Storm Rage, and Wolfheart. All would be perfect choices for your free book just by going up and signing up today. Love the Audible. I've been a long-time subscriber myself. Pretty much the only way I read books. I only at this point read books now if it's not on Audible, which is very few and far between. Sometimes once in a while. There's a lot of free books on Audible too. People don't know about that. Check it out. A lot of options. I know Olivia D. Grace reads a lot of the free stuff on there, like learning new languages and things like that. I think there's some. So there's a bunch on there. But check it out today. Go over to audible.com, make a new account, and download the app. Put it on your iPhone. Maybe get that shiny iOS 7 going. Maybe your Android. If you're a Samsung guy like Michael Byrne, download the app or the BlackBerry. Put it on your phone and start downloading a free book today. Audible.com/gamebreaker. All right, so this week we saw some more controversy around CCP. So they reworded their terms of service agreement, and from the player's perspective, it read at least that they were like cracking down on the scammers that involve impersonating other people or an officer or CCP employee of things of that nature. And people absolutely just, flipped out because if any of you are, EVE players, you've read the stories, that we post on Gamebreaker from time to time, you understand that part of the world of EVE Online is being a villain and, lying to people and doing bad deeds. And part of that comes down to impersonating people from different guilds or what your motivations are and things like that. So CCP jumped back and, God, I think the thread on this thing was insane. It was like 1,600 posts.
Oh, man.
Yeah, people didn't take it lightly. It really just went nuts. People went crazy when they read this because and rightfully so. Because here, check it out. I mean, they came back and they said this. They said, for all practical purposes, there has been no change in how impersonation issues will be handled compared to the last few years. The TOS update reflects the way reported cases of impersonation have been handled by customer support for a long time. They then said the rules have been buried in our naming policy in EULA, but have not been placed in plain view in order to better help players to make decisions on how they interact with one another. One concern is that we have pretty much banned all scams in EVE. Clearly, this is not the case. So they quickly kind of at least came back and said, hey, most of this verbiage has been in here. You just didn't realize it was there. We moved it. We're not really going to stop, all your dastardly deeds. It seems like nothing's really changed, and this got really blown out of proportion this week.
Hold on, everybody chill out. You're still allowed to lie, cheat, steal, and murder.
Yes, because that's, I mean, if they don't have,
everything's good.
Well, as a player, if you didn't understand that, if they took that out of the game, I could see a ton of players quitting because they're just like, but that's part of the game. Like, that's what it's become. It's political espionage and craziness. So, kind of chalk that one up to blown out of proportion.
Chalk it up to nobody reads EULAs.
No.
The one
Ever.
The one thing that I saw one of their guys come back with saying that made some sense was when you do have a scammer, a guy who's just like, running some scams, he doesn't, usually if someone's screwing with you in EVE, you go and you get him, you blow up their ship or whatever, or you scam them back. But this guy was like, a lot of people could just sit on the station, run their scams just through communication, whatever, and they never are going to leave. They're never going to go anywhere that you could get back at. So I think that was some of the, maybe they got some complaints along that lines, or maybe that was some of the reason for a seemingly harsher or seemingly more whatever.
Maybe,
I know. It's not great,
but I think I don't know what the real reason why they moved this into their TOS. Maybe just some legal thing. Lawyers said, "Hey, this some should," because I imagine this has always been there, right? Like they're gonna put these safeguards in every. This is like the whole media on YouTube, all that kind of stuff with all these games. They all have these like fine print buried somewhere, and it's only when people really pay attention to it or it gets in the news that people start freaking out. So since they moved it, all of a sudden it's like, whoa! But I don't think anything's going to change. I think that especially after the 1,600 thread post, I think whoever did this change, they are sort of just like, you were changing nothing. And
that was just the main one. There was at least 50 to 60 other threads that got 6 posts in before moderators were like, please go back to this thread. Please go back to this thread. The one that has 1,600 posts. Could you please stay there? This is getting out of control. It was all over their forums. It was reported a little wonky in some places too.
Yes.
And to be
titles,
fair,
titles are
titles were a little misleading in some places, and it got wildly blown out of proportion. Not just on their site, but on other sites as well.
I actually don't know this. What is
understanding EVE controversies?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
I was doing some analytics, and I think was it over the past month, 3 months? I want to say it was a month or 3 months. I don't remember. Somebody in the chat room will tell me because I tweeted it. I actually found it so interesting. But we don't cover EVE a ton. We cover like the stories when they're like the crazy espionage stories and things like that.
Right.
But the number one story in the past, I think 6 months was one EVE Online story. Like, it's not like we cover it like that. It was just amazing because they're great stories. Like they're awesome. Like these people spend like a year of their lives. Like, I forget what the last one was, but I actually don't know this. Like, so I doubt either of you know either. If I don't know, because I think I played more Eve than both of you. But I actually wasn't sure about, like, I know you can impersonate, like, people and lie and do things like that. Are you actually, I mean, according obviously to the TOS, you're not. But is it actually frowned upon or bannable, like, that you could actually impersonate an CCP employee to build your scam and scheme on? Is that still okay? Is that okay?
I think that's on the other side of the line.
Yeah.
I
Is
think
that
when
on
you
the
start
other way? Like if you're an employee or a GM or something like that, then you're in bannable. Somebody
right, because at that point you're inferring or you're implying that you have the ability to not only cause consequences in game but cause consequences out of game as well. Where when you pretend to be Gary Gannon, who is another player, the consequences of all those actions are played out and determined in the game. So I think, yeah, that's probably a line you don't want to cross.
I think that probably is a line you don't want to cross. And I know
that
another
doesn't
reason why
mean people haven't done it.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
Sure.
I know another reason why people were really kind of up in arms about this change was the way it reads. You could potentially even be banned even for impersonating your own alt. So if you really want to get technical,
even apparently if you say it right in the middle of the conversation, I'm actually Jason, but I'm on my alt. And now I'm doing stuff.
You're impersonating.
Still get you in trouble.
And people were really nitpicking, but I think this is mostly
impersonate Jason's alt impersonating Jason.
Impersonationception. It's almost like Trironic.
Who gets banned, me or Jason?
What if I'm on my alt and I'm impersonating my alt?
I'm moving on. All right, there's obviously some confusion here. I think EVE Online players, you can probably go on about your devious
Shady
days and shindigs and keep, ruining people's lives. And I'm all for it.
Chat, well done. Impersonation, new site, Gary.
I don't know what we would post there. I don't know what we would post there, but okay.
You wouldn't post anything. I would just pretend to be you and post
right? Just put up a U report, people pretending to be Game Breaker.
All right, so CCP obviously clarified in a further thread, even beyond that, the statements that scamming involving impersonations is not an automatic ban. So if you're impersonating, you're not an automatic ban. They may have a word with you and give you a warning that it's actually exceedingly rare that they even do that for somebody to get banned outright. Yeah, so in a game that thrives on doing this, I don't think you guys have anything to worry about, but understandable of why everybody would freak out. So keep on going about your ways. All right, really quick. Let's see up next. Warhammer Online is shutting and nobody cares.
Somebody in chat cares.
Somebody in chat probably does care.
One person was very
December
upset.
18th, Warhammer Online permanently shutting down. Okay, sure. I've got. Oh, I should have pulled out my war. I have the. Hey, you want to see the collector's edition? I have the collector's edition of that game.
No, you don't.
Oh, jeez. Now you've done it.
He really does. Oh my! Wow. Look, I knew watching the shows back then. I knew he was like a Warhammer fan. Like he wanted it to do well back when it came out, but I didn't know.
Faction PvP. It
was RVR, all that stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't know he was like that into it though. This is a shame. One of the things that's funny though, Jason, remember back in June they put up a notice that was like, "Hey, we've done some metrics and our 6-month subscription package isn't selling very well, so we're going to discontinue it." And immediately while I'm typing it, I was like, are you canceling the 1 and 3 month too? Because I can't imagine they're doing much better.
Now we know why they canceled the 6 month.
There it is. I'll be damned.
There it is.
Like on old TWIMMos, I've always heard you talk about it and how you wanted it to do really well, and you were so pumped for it.
It was a gorgeous set. Look at this. I mean, hang on. I'm doing an. Was this a reboxing? I guess since it's closing.
It was before I was working there, but we actually did a special like 100-page magazine at Beckett for this game when it came out.
I mean, awesome like art book, just tons of great, like really well done. Really, the art of Warhammer Online. That's 2 hardcovers in here. You got that hardcover and you've got another one.
That's high quality. You wouldn't throw that at Shaft.
This was the
And
graphic
if you did, he
novel.
wouldn't stand up afterwards.
The entire Warhammer graphic novel in a hardcover. Nice. This is a great one. Then you got obviously the game. You know, got to get the game.
Yeah, who needs that part?
And
It's
then
the worst thing in that box.
And then I never even opened these, but some Warhammer Online, you know, paintable miniature.
Wow.
Rumlock and Gazbag. So this was a great one.
I would not mind finding one of those just for those books.
Oh, the books are made. Yeah, the books are great.
Yeah.
Which is one of the main reasons I bought it. I mean, the graphic novel, they're really well done. It's unfortunate. I had a lot of high hopes for this game. This could have been a contender. It could have been a contender. Yeah.
See, it could have been a contender.
They just borked it. They just completely borked it. God, the artwork is so good.
Do you have a lot of hope for Eternal Crusade?
No.
Warhammer 40K? You don't have a lot of hope for that either?
No, I don't know. At this point, just I like 40K. I'm actually more of a 40K fan than a straight up Warhammer fan, to be honest.
Right.
I just like this. It makes me so angry when they screw up like probably the coolest IP out there.
Yeah.
Is this one of those games that should get the no leveling treatment?
No.
Just send you straight through to PvP or something?
I mean,
why not? Isn't that what you want to do? Just bash each other's faces in?
I've got number 6,085 of 66,000. Didn't even realize there was that many of them. I never even saw that number till today. Didn't even know it was numbered. There you go. All right. So, unfortunately, Warhammer Online is closing down December 18th. Maybe it'll increase the value of my how much would you pay for this, Bern? Let's see if this is on eBay. How much would you pay?
How much would I pay for it?
Yeah, how much would you pay for something like this?
I don't know. Let's check this. See what other people are paying.
No, don't look yet. I just want to know.
Oh no, there's no way I'm going there.
I want to know what you think that something like this.
I would anticipate that it's probably slightly less than its initial retail value, the collector's set.
Unopened, I would say maybe it goes for around $200.
$52, 0 bids. That
okay.
Sealed.
$25.
$52.
Sealed. It's sealed. They're probably still on the shelf.
$52.
There you go. So you can get $25.
Wow.
Yeah, I got yelled at
$26
for almost buying the Lord of the Rings expansions. I think buying a $60 collector set for a game that I can't play in 3 months is marriage suicide.
Yeah, that's awesome. Buy the collector's edition for a game that's closing on December 18th.
Right.
Put it on your shelf.
I want the books,
all right.
Gary.
Well, the books are nice. All right, moving on. This is a good article. This one came out yesterday, I think. SOE, Sony Online Entertainment. They ain't going to deal with your bullshit, basically. They're not going to deal with your trolling shit. SOE nobody got time for that. Linda Carlson. What's up, Linda? She's awesome. Love Linda over at the SOE. She told GameIndustry.biz that they just don't need like these people. You know, if you're seen basically either harassing an employee, an SOE employee, even on like say Twitter, just say goodbye. Just done. Boom.
Yeah,
gone.
Don't be trolling.
She said basically they don't need individuals like that as customers, and I gotta say personally, I love this stance. It's kind of a stance. I'm not type at Gamebreaker, but I kind of feel like we've had the same stance at Gamebreaker for a long time. People are always like, "You guys are like forum Nazis and chat Nazis." I'm like, "Yep, yeah, we kind of just ban you. Like, we just don't need you. Like, I'm sorry, but that's just the way it is. Don't be a dick." What is your stance on this? I mean, do you like a community that's more built like this, or do you like one that's a bit more sort of like the Wild West and trolly?
I'm frankly surprised you don't go for the Wild West and trolling here.
I don't troll, Jason Winter.
Oh, of course not. No, grief. I'm sorry, grief. I'm sorry.
I don't grief.
I'm sorry.
You guys
don't get me started on Ganon.
You guys
griefing.
just suck at open world PvP. That's really all there is to it. You have no idea how to enjoy the game. That is not
Dead
griefing.
Dead giveaway.
We could go into that for hours. Come on, let's go.
My neighbor got big testicles. We see this dude every day.
I do not grief. I've never griefed. I've spawn camped a handful of people after being spawn camped. I would never do something like that. Like I would never just spawn camp like people and be
You've
asshats.
talked about tearing my EverQuest next house down already, and the game's not even out.
If that's part of the open world PvP aspect of the game, yes, that is part of the goddamn game. How can you guys not get through this through your Care Bear skulls?
You talked about wanting to PvP someone so hard they quit playing the game and uninstalled it.
We got the entire server to either switch sides or quit. Yes, but that was part of the goddamn game. That's what it was for. How do you guys not understand this? There's a difference between griefing
You should be banned.
and playing a game the way it's meant to be played.
All right, in fairness, when I first read this, I was like, what a great idea. I love this. Then I thought about it for a second, and I was like, I like this as long as the terms are very, very clear. Because remember, we had a big fiasco.
You can't,
with
though.
A
You
company
can't.
that took this type. We had a fiasco where a company took this type of mentality, right? I mean, with Origin and EA back in late 2011, early 2012, where they decided they were going to do the same type of attitude mentality, but they didn't execute it correctly. And people on the forums were finding their accounts getting banned and their single-player games getting banned, lifetime bans, because their algorithm on the forums matched up a swear word and their name in one person's post, and they got banned.
Oh yeah,
that's
use like computerized algorithm. Yeah.
Yeah,
right,
if it's a computerized
the
algorithm,
execution,
yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay,
You got to have
okay.
the execution, and I've got to see the rules here. If,
I don't
if
think
you
you have to see the rules.
No, I don't either.
I don't agree with
come
that.
on.
I go by the
because you can't.
don't be a dick.
Harassment on Twitter.
Don't be a dick.
Yeah.
So if I disagree with something
internet.
Smedley posts and we have a little debate back and forth, who decides where the line has come where our discussion has reached harassment?
They do.
They do.
Right. So tell me where that line is as a paying customer. I should know where that line is. Are we allowed to have a disagreement, or is it no disagreements at all?
How about as a human being?
There has to be a
Yeah.
Yeah.
The internet's too
You're
hard,
talking
Michael
about
Byrne.
the internet.
Well,
Right,
yes, and the
that's
internet is going to
exactly
have to freaking learn.
Exactly. That's why I'm with Jason on this one, because we are talking about the internet, and like you can't define like where these lines are. You just can't, because people will push them to
You
the
have
very
to.
extent and try and hide
You're
them.
talking about paying customers. You have to.
Because then even
No.
worse, if you do define where the line is, someone's going to figure out some way around it, some little tweak or whatever.
It's their game. It's their forums. It's their interaction. If they don't want to deal with you, they're not going to take your money anymore. They don't need you.
No.
Shut it off.
That's a terrible attitude
No.
to take about this, because then you are leaving it open for people on their side of the business to just say, Jason didn't really do anything. He's just annoying me because he doesn't like what we're doing with an upcoming patch. Gone.
Gone.
Yeah, and if they do that,
Jason doesn't deserve that. He's been paying his money. He's talking on TWIMMO about something he doesn't like on an upcoming patch.
I mean,
and they get to decide what his opinion on
they-
TWIMMO is trolling and what isn't.
Well, how are they, even if they write it out, how am I going to say that wasn't it? If I go to Matt Higby or whatever and say this was the lousy choice in PlanetSide 2 you guys made, if they say in their thing, if they say
I'm not
written
trolling
down,
Mike, by the way. Like, Charm thinks I'm trolling you, and I'm not trolling you. Because even in the Game Breaker Nation, like, we talk to our officers and we also talk to them, and we make it clear that they understand, like, we're actually watching like your Twitter accounts when you're interacting with like other individuals. So like if you're part of like, you know, what we do at Game Breaker, you're representing Game Breaker basically kind of 24/7 at that point. And if you're an asshole and a dick over here, like, we don't need that. Like, that's all there is to it. So, and I know it sounds so vague just to use the rules of like, don't be a dick, but it's like, really, like the internet is so, it's like the Wild West, and to have things everything formulated down in the document, it doesn't work. It just doesn't work. Like, so I mean, I would put all my money on it that.
But we just lost sound. Can't hear you, Gary.
He's putting all of his money on something.
I got excited. I hit mute. I got excited. I hit mute. I was saying. I almost guarantee that, you know, if you get into like, you know, a debate,
even the
with
soundboard was like, "You're wrong."
Now he's griefing. That was a good one.
Oh, yeah, that's grief.
That was a good one. I guarantee you that they're not going to just like ban you for having like a disagreement with somebody. Like, you disagree with a game design thing. It's when it becomes toxic behavior and people kind of just
And I don't think Sony's going to be dumb and do that.
No one is. We're not.
The potential is there for them to do that. If they
the thing is, though, they have. I sat in actually when Linda did a seminar on how they do their community management, and they have meetings all the time. I bet if something comes up where they say I'm banning so and so, that gets to a meeting, Linda's going to hear about it and she's going to say, why are you banning this guy? If it's a crappy reason, then she's going to say, no, don't do that. You know.
Well, and she's commented on different websites that reported the story too. She actually has made the rounds and commented that we take this very seriously. We don't ban a lot of people when it comes down to sheer numbers, and we document it very well, and that's great. I'm all for it, and I think Sony's going to execute this in a reasonable manner. My only argument isn't against whether they do this or not. It's define it a little bit for your paying customers. Come on.
You guys have been around for a while. How do you guys honestly think that the Game Breaker community fares up against other video game communities out there? How do you think it stacks up?
Pretty well. I mean, I've seen worse, certainly. I've seen some that are maybe a little better, but generally decent.
This is pretty much the rule that we've had since day one. Like, this is pretty much the set in stone rule of don't be a dick from like forever. And it's just, hey, we have a set of, I mean, I'm sure like what you want, Mike, as well, is like some sort of like documentation. I'm sure there's going to be something.
I don't need this is okay, this is okay, this is okay, this is okay. I mean, it doesn't need to be this whole long plan, but I need to see, give me a line.
Well,
give me an example of a line, and that way because they were talking about how well they document these, when you have that documentation, you can clearly see this one's over that line, this one's not. I mean, this doesn't need to be an HR manual. I agree with the overall concept, but you need to give your paying customers at least some idea of where the line is. Because I've prepared a little list for you, Gary. I've got a list for you.
Well, I would go as far as they're going to have something online in their terms or their rules of conduct. I mean, we have the same thing. It's like, sexism, racism. Like, there's a couple things that, like, if you even utter like sexism or racism or anything like that within Game Breaker, you're just done. Like, that's it. It's gone, and there's no coming back. That kind of thing. But there's a lot of other stuff that's just gray. There's like a lot of times people just say like off the wall like stupid shit about like people in chat room, and we just don't deal with it. It's just like it's easier to just like get rid of that toxicity of people who want to act like that on the internet because it's become acceptable, and have a better community for it. I've always felt that like if we get rid of that one person, we'll gain 10 more, just because like we actually have like a pretty decent inviting area for people to come in that's kind of safe, and you're not just going to get trolled and like beat the hell down by like whatever you want to say. I don't know.
We do have the sexiest fan base.
We do. That we do.
Well,
that's by far.
Wow,
I have compiled a list, though, here, Gary, of locations that John Smedley's Twitter account might have just gotten him banned from.
Oh.
If I may be so bold. On August 8th, Mr. Smedley, who I love dearly, this is all in entertainment value, John. Please don't kill me. He said, "Wow, American Airlines blows." Banned from American Airlines. Congratulations. Gonna have to take U.S. Air from now on. Oh yes. That's overstepped the imaginary line, Jason. July 3rd. Okay, Lone Ranger sucked. I knew it would suck. I went anyways. When they played the William Tell Overture at the end, I died a little. Banned from Jerry Bruckheimer's house.
Oh, God.
Not allowed. Not allowed. May 13th. I got 3 more for you. May 13th. I can't defend everything that happened, but Kurt is an entirely honest guy to a fault. Smedley no longer allowed in Rhode Island.
Ever. He's just not allowed to step it. No.
Allowed in Rhode
Part
Island.
of the lawsuit and everything.
Yep. May 8th, Gatsby is right up there with Catcher in the Rye. Boring as hell, but both are great American novels, according to someone else. Smedley not allowed anywhere near high school classrooms in the United States anymore. Can't go near the places. And last one, probably the most important, May 7th, the iPhone 5, I will miss you. Liking the S4, never thought I would, but I get it now.
Yeah,
never allowed in Apple headquarters again. Yeah. Apple headquarters totally shunned, banned, crossed the line 5 times. Just an example of places he would have been banned from. That's all I'm saying.
Except he wouldn't be because they have
Jason,
smart
it's an imaginary internet damn line. He crossed it.
I am going to move on. Wow, we've talked about that a lot longer than I even thought we would. All right, so Chinese Rift servers are shutting down on November 15th. Anybody else getting a bit worried? All the news coming out of the Rift camp lately is not very good. So, yes, Rift servers in China shutting down November 15th. Shanda Games was the management, I guess, over there for China. For some reason, it still had a subscription over there, which I wasn't even aware
one of those lovely per hour ones.
It's a weird kind of, it's like a per hour thing. It actually comes out to like 8 cents an hour. If you buy, like, I don't know if you buy time cards or you just like put in your credit card into your disk drive or whatever. The Korean version of Rift shut down earlier this year as well. That one's already done, I think. Asia does not like Rift, it seems.
This game should not have gone east. It actually borders on that argument that maybe Tera shouldn't have come west, right?
Well, that's my next question: is what do you guys think about now? Does it worry you at all about Arcade coming west and Trion's handling it?
This doesn't, because I don't think this impacts Trion any more than just it cosmetically looking like it's one of their products that failed. This is more on Shanda Games and a ridiculous advertisement campaign with Adam Lambert and Maggie Q and Dwayne Wade way back when. So this is more on them, but the trouble at Trion and the trouble with Arcade in the East does make me worry about it coming west.
True. It just, from everything it looks like a major restructuring is going on within Trion, across the board. So, Scott Hartzman left. They brought him back as CEO now. All of a sudden, all these like studios are shutting down and all kinds of restructuring. So it looks like they're just kind of looking at possibly the state of where they are, every little aspect of it, every employee, every studio, every office that they have, and just kind of going through and probably cutting as much fat as they possibly can, shut down as much as they can, and go back to just getting the next thing moving. So, but yeah, we'll see. Not great news coming out of the Trion lately, though. At least it's maybe it is good news actually. Maybe there's a spin here, and maybe this is all for the better, which I'm sure that's why they're doing this.
Nobody was laid off, at least.
Rift 2.4 live in the West. Go enjoy. New Chronicle.
Sometimes you got to do a restructuring. Sometimes you got to do it. Let's see. Red 5 Studios this week. Some more bad news. Our friends over at Red 5, the creators of Firefall, 10% of that staff has been laid off in a reorganization prior to launch. And last week we talked about the removal of Firefall's PvP mode. Only had 3% of the player base actually playing it. So again, not sure what's going on over in the Red 5 camp with Firefall, but hoping they can get that squared away and their act together.
I mean, they might be having some internal issues. I mean, if you've ever been to Glassdoor.com, the site that I've checked out a little bit lately, it has reviews of all sorts of different companies based on reviews that are posted by employees or former employees. So they did a survey of a bunch of different game companies, and Red 5 comes out really low on the list. Some of the comments by employees or former employees were, find a vision for your company and stick with it. Massive feature creep and no cohesive vision has led to a project that feels all over the place. And the best one, this was before the layoffs, start saving up what money you can so you can pay severance to all employees that will inevitably be laid off when the game cannot deliver.
Ooh.
Which, when you look at all the things that they've changed and everything that they've messed around with or altered or whatever, removing PvP, it's kind of hard not to agree with some of those assessments.
What kind of confidence do you have in that site and the people that post there, though?
I mean, they have it for.
Would you say their communities is as sexy as ours?
That's not part of. Well, I mean, it comes from employees. It comes from people who actually work there or work there. So you figure they have a better notion of what's going on than any of us do. I mean,
we shall see.
You can't get much more than that.
Well,
these layoffs are on the entertainment aspect things, though. They don't have to do, at least publicly, they weren't announced to have anything to do with the game.
A lot of it was
for their live action
studios.
Stuff.
It was the Red 5 Studios division was the hardest hit. I don't know exactly where the line crosses into on the game side, but I think most of these cuts were the Red 5 Studios people who were doing the content side of the YouTube channel and things like that. Does anybody know are they going to keep going with the what's it called? The Firefall, not weekly or whatever, but there's the whole, like, the thing that they do every week, the live show and on Twitch and all that
like
stuff.
talk show thing?
Yeah, they're going to still do that? I don't know. I'll watch chat room. I don't know if they're still doing that.
No,
really
that's
good show.
Stage 5. That's them, isn't it?
That's all gone, huh?
Yeah. As far as I knew, that's what's gone.
Oh, that's unfortunate. I really like that stuff. Because they had all the other YouTube stuff that was separate. It's part of the Red 5. I don't know. It's kind of confusing.
Yeah,
Anyway.
see, Psych in chat is saying that was the major layoff, so I understood it correctly.
And Squirrel, just so you know, a lot of game companies get good reviews too on there from happy employees. So, I mean,
yeah, that's it. Well, that was an expensive marketing division that Red 5 put together. So instead of they dumped a lot of money. I mean, I went there and it was a pretty when I was there for Firefall Fest, I was on set. I mean, it was a real deal. I mean, they had a huge, production space set up and a lot of gear and expensive cameras and dollies and tracks and lighting and people running it. And there's a lot of people that, really worked hard to make that whole thing happen. So it definitely was not like a cheap endeavor. So they did a really good job with it. But man, I mean, I kind of always thought that the Red 5 Studios thing was a bit odd only because it's like, okay, you're trying to run a video game company and create a video game. And now you want to try and run like a television studio, which essentially I get you can do it now for a lot cheaper than a television network can, off the shelf stuff, but that's essentially what you were doing to some extent. So, oh well, Saudi. Well, we just have to watch Game Breaker more. We'll keep covering the Firefall because I've hope. I want to see Duel. World of Warplanes release date has been pushed back. To November?
Chat says your show, the one Firefall Live, is unaffected. So now we're getting mixed things here.
I kind of would assume that for some reason. I don't think they would stop doing that. So at some level. Okay, so they're unaffected by the layoffs. Okay, all right, cool. Because I like that show. I like tuning into that show. It's a good show. It's a really good show to keep up on what's going on. Those guys are really funny. World of Warplanes. So they're cutting it a bit close to the wire, but not launching. They're going to now wait till November. What's the state of Warplanes? Anybody jumping in? They're still tweaking. They're still trying to,
2-week delay just to make the game better. It was the same generic excuse we get. No, it was
going to launch
November 12th.
Yeah, it was going to launch September 25th.
Yep.
That's like 6 weeks, I guess.
Oh shit! Yeah, there's that whole October thing in between.
Yeah, October.
Yeah, it's a whole month there, buddy.
Yeah, that's no.
That's a lot.
Yeah, so yeah, that is a pretty substantial delay then. I was like, but it's the same junk as far as we're trying to make it better.
2 other games launched this week. You guys care? Dragon's Prophet?
Well, actually, only one of those launched.
Didn't MechWarrior Online
North
launch?
America. MechWarrior Online launched, and Dragon's Prophet did not launch in North America.
Oh,
launched
really?
in Europe at the last minute. SOE and RuneWaker held back on the North American client they were having what they said were issues with crashes. So they did not launch Dragon's Prophet North American. They did launch it in Europe. MechWarrior did launch, and there is no current ETA as of right before the show on when North America Dragon Prophet goes full launch.
Interesting. Have either of you guys checked into MechWarrior Online recently? I need to check in. How is it? How are you liking it?
Jason, you just tweeted about that too?
I was playing Hawk.
Oh, you were on the other one.
The other
I love
mech game.
MechWarrior Online. MechWarrior Online, if you aren't thinking, you're dead. That's it. Pay attention, get some teammates, get some friends, have some fun.
There you go. Michael Byrne, follow him on Twitter at Michael. No, not Michael Byrne. Magic Man. MIGICKMANN1. Magic Man. Mike Byrne. And of course, you can see him on XIV Reborn, our Final Fantasy XIV show, and all over the interwebs and at a Magic conference near you. Jason Winter, follow him on Twitter at Winter Informal. And of course, right here on TWIMMO, which we do live every Friday at 3 Pacific. So come on over for the live show and follow him at Winter Informal.
Byrne, I just want to say, you suck. Now ban me from Twitter.
There you go. Banned!
Totally banned. I don't have to deal with that harassment.
Follow me at Gary Gannon. Follow Gamebreaker TV, Gamebreaker TV. And that's about it. We'll see you next week for more This Week in MMO.